So we are doing Bhagavad Gita Chapter 3 verse 21. For whatever a great man does, that very thing other men also do. Whatever standard he sets up, the generality of men follow the same. Now, this was true many years ago, but today it has become very difficult for generality to follow. Even the people, those who have gone beyond, they also have started giving reasons why they cannot keep up the pace. You will find that setting an example is very important. So, if the enlightened person or this perfect being, whoever that we are talking about, if he rules his kingdom in the perfect manner, that means he does judgments accordingly. As a king, he is supposed to judge correctly. Then he is supposed to rule in a perfect manner. Also, his attitude towards the people, his family, his friends, and the general populace has to be even. So there should not be an unevenness that this is my family, so I have to become very considerate about them and not about others. This should not be the case. So his job is supposed to set an example. So for him to set an example, he has to perform his actions which are above board. Alright? So now let us try to understand how these actions are affecting in today's day and age. Let us say a simple example in the material worldly life. An example would be getting up early in the morning, doing meditation, pranayama and exercises, going for a walk, whatever. These are basic stuff. So it so happens that if this person whom we are talking about as a great man doesn't perform these actions, it is definitely going to affect the entire number of people that are there in front of him. So let us say today what has happened is in India there are some of these so-called masters. They are indulging in a lot of nefarious activities. If they are performing these kind of activities, their disciples are also going to follow what the master does. So let us say if the master takes bribes or takes money or does whatever that is not required, has an evil eye and looks at women as an object of lust. If this is the case, then the entire group that is there, they will also do the same. Personally, I have come across a lot of these kind of people who are indulging in all kinds of activities. I had gone on a tour. So on the tour I found that there are people who are smoking weed and indulging in all kinds of wrong activities. So this is not a done thing. So if that is the condition, you can imagine what the future generation is going to be. So setting example is very, very important. So Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are the leader amongst men. It is your duty to perform these tasks which have come your way in the most appropriate manner. You cannot say, I am not going to do. you also have to do. People normally don't want to perform menial tasks. If they have grown in their stature, they don't want to perform menial tasks. They will say, oh, I already have somebody over there, he will do the task for me. No. It is important that this great man sets a right example. That is why Shri Krishna has given this verse where he says, for whatever a great man does, that very thing other men also do. Whatever standard he sets up, the generality of men follow the same. What does he mean by this word standard? The standard is always, there is a bar, there is a standard, there is a bar which is set by the Guru, by the enlightened master, by the great man. Now, what is this bar? There can never be a single day in life he can lower the bar. Please understand this. If this leader amongst men doesn't follow the rules and the regulations himself, then he is not suitable for that position. Even in general life, in our common life, if you have a manager, if you have a senior manager, if you have a CEO of a company doing all kinds of nefarious deeds and not following the rule, then the entire team is going to do the same. So he has to first set an example. When I was flying down, I saw that there are lots of people who travel in first class, or they travel in a better way in flight. They expect to be served. They expect that the air hostess or whoever that is there, the steward or stewardess, they will literally bow down to their whatever whims and fancies that are there. There are lots of things that are happening today in the flights also. You find that people have become very unruly. They think that they own that airline, or they think that they own the that particular seat of theirs. It is only a temporary seat for that particular moment. Then why are they having so much of ego? They have to set an example. The higher you go, the higher you go in your life, you are in the public eye. And when you are in the public eye, it is important to set the right example. This bar which is set by this enlightened person is very, very high. So if somebody says that they have to, say, do meditation, it is important for that master himself to be performing the meditation for hours at stretch without getting disturbed. If japa is recommended, then this japa has to be done continuously. There can never be a break or something like that. And that is the reason why the generality of men, that means everybody who is below this person, they will follow. You will be amazed to see wherever I had gone to these places. If the Guru is wearing ochre color clothes, everybody is wearing ochre color clothes. And believe it or not, some of them are wearing lemon yellow. Then the entire team is wearing lemon yellow. If the Guru is setting an example of giving something to the deity over there, the generality of men will do the same. If the Guru himself is arrogant and he demands attention, then everybody in his group is going to do the same. That is why you have to set very high bars. Because as a divine person, your job is to give the right example, set the right example so that others can follow. So now we will move to the next verse. We are doing Bhagavad Gita Chapter 3 verse 22. Arjuna, there is no duty in all the three worlds for me to perform, nor is there anything worth attaining, unattained by me, yet I continue to work. Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna, look at me. I am a charioteer for you. I am doing the most menial task in the war. And yet I am doing that. So if there is a great person, he has to set these bars higher. No work should be below his dignity. That means all work has to be performed in the most perfect manner. Krishna says to Arjuna that there is no duty actually assigned to Shri Krishna. He is not supposed to do any duty. He is not supposed to perform any actions. This is one thing people have not understood over ages. They think Shri Krishna is doing the job. When you think that Shri Krishna is doing the job, you are attributing Shri Krishna as a human being who is doing some kind of a work using his mind. There is no such thing. Shri Krishna is doing all the jobs that are necessary to be done. It could be anything. I will tell you something which you need to understand from the spiritual aspect. When you enter the domain of spirituality, the first thing that the Guru does is ask you to beg. Beg for food, beg for money, beg for clothes, beg for everything. The reason why he makes you beg for things is to destroy your ego. If somebody says, I am not going to beg from people, or I am not going to, ask for something, I can give it. I own so much money. No. It is not your money. The money belongs to the divine. He has given it to you. You giving that money has no value. But you performing a seva for the Lord is important. So, here an example would suffice. Samartha Ramdas used to go with a jholi. A jholi is a slung bag, bag. It's not actually a bag. They take two corners and tie it up and they make it into a kind of a sling bag. And he would go from house to house saying these words, Bhikshande. Bhiksha means give me some offering, give me some offering, Bhiksha. You give an offering to a beggar. Bhiksha, this is the word. So Bhikshande. Plus he had 4 more disciples. So his disciples would also go out. Now, one of his greatest disciples was Shivaji Maharaj. Now, Shivaji Maharaj, who was Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, was a king in ancient times, around 15th, 16th century. Now, Shivaji Maharaj was such a great king that he would offer everything to Samartha Ramdas. Samartha Ramdas would never touch those things. Never. On the contrary, he will distribute it amongst people. He will tell the people, you come and take all this away. And yet he will go out to the village, nearby village, beg for food, beg for little grains. He would go to the jungle, he would cook those things and he would eat them along with his disciples. So when Shivaji Maharaj used to come to meet him, he also had to perform these actions. On top of it, Shivaji Maharaj never ate from what he had offered. So what he would do was whatever was the leftover of his Gurudev, he would take it as a prasad. It could be just a small roti. Roti is a flat bread. So he would take that as an offering. Now think about both these people. There should be no ego even in begging. Many people came to me in the past and I gave them an instruction. Go and ask people for money. Go and ask people for food. They refused. They said, why should I do this? I will myself fund you. I will do this to you. It's not about you. It's not about you. I want to see whether you can decimate your ego. So the first thing is to go out and fearlessly beg for money. So the Guru keeps these kinds of hurdles in the way. The second one is he will say, go and talk to people about this thing. Naturally, if you speak about God and various other subjects, people get very upset. And that is very important for human beings to do, those who are on the path of spiritual. It is if you set an example, then the others will follow. So Shri Krishna says to Arjuna that there isn't a single task that I need to do, because all his tasks are done naturally and normally, just like that. To run this world, he runs it through his agency, which is called Maya. He doesn't have to do anything. He will instruct Maya accordingly. The Maya will do its job. Maya is nobody else but Krishna himself, by the way. It is his divine potency. It's the potency which runs this universe. So Maya does that. So he says there is nothing worth attaining. When he says these words, what does it mean? Attaining something. Every human being wants to attain something, some destination. I want to be the richest, I want to do this, I want to do that. And on the path of spiritual, it is enlightenment. I want the highest love, I want the highest of the heavens. This is what everybody is craving for. Sri Krishna says, I don't have any of those needs. See? There is no such desire whatsoever. I don't have to go and get something for myself. So it is already attained. So you do the task for attaining something. Every person in the spiritual world has to perform actions so that they can attain something in their life. Whatever that is needed. Now, there are lots of people who come, they are misguided people actually. If you ask me, they are totally misguided. So they will come and ask for, different kinds of siddhis. I want money. I want to make money. Give me the magic mantra for making money. In my past, I have heard many people saying that you can do this just by saying those words. That means you bless me and say that I can do this, I can get millions of dollars. No. That should never be the case. If Sri Krishna himself is working, what makes a person think that they don't have to do it? So it is important for us to understand that Sri Krishna is saying that there is nothing that I need to achieve, and yet I continue to work. There is nothing to be attained in this world, and yet I continue to work. Everything is with him. Then why does he need to work? Remember my earlier verse which I did? There I said that there are rich people. And these rich people, they expect others to bow down to them and perform all their menial tasks as well. That is not correct. That means they are not great people. If the master is like that, then the average person is also going to become like that. That is why the higher you go, the more amount of work you need to do. You cannot say that I am not going to do. It is important to do. So this is what Sri Krishna is talking about. So now let us move to the next verse. We will do two verses together. We are doing Bhagavad Gita Chapter 3 verse 23 and 24. Should I not engage in actions scrupulously at any time, great harm will come to the world. For Arjuna, men follow my way in all matters. Verse 24. If I ever cease to act, these worlds would perish. Nay, I should prove to be the cause of confusion and so the destruction of this people. Sri Krishna himself is giving an understanding why he needs to work. Why does he perform actions? Sri Krishna performs all the necessary actions that are there. That means if he is working in the material domain, let us say Sri Krishna has to rule his kingdom. He has got so many wives, so many children. He's got an entire kingdom to run. There are many people there. There are menial tasks. The task could be even, getting the footwear. Everything Sri Krishna will do without any assistance. That means he will do it himself. As a king, he has to set an example. So he performs his actions accordingly. Now, if he refuses to do, let us say Sri Krishna says, I am the God. I am that great God. Why should I do these actions? Okay, let all my minions do the job. It cannot be like that. Sri Krishna himself will have to perform these actions. But if Sri Krishna doesn't do you know how many gods are there below him? Millions and millions of gods are there. These gods themselves will not function. They will not perform actions. They will take it easy. Likewise, in our world, The God that we are talking about, Shri Krishna, is the divine consciousness within us. If this divine consciousness itself does not perform action, then every part of our body, which is nothing but one of the divinities within us, or what as we call them, the deities, they will stop working. Now let us apply this example to our daily activity. Now think about it. If you stop using one of your limbs, or if you sit in one place for some time, do you know what happens? That part becomes numb. It doesn't move. Right? You will find that to get up from that place, I have to get up just now. Do you know how difficult it is? There are lots of people who just lie on the bed. They refuse to get up. The parts associated with the getting up itself is not going to work. That's a deity. The deity will say, oh, the Lord himself, that is you yourself, If he doesn't do, why should I get up? Why should I do this? So in our body and in our world, if the boss, you are the boss, if the higher authority refuses to do something, the lesser ones, the lesser beings will also do that same. That means they will not perform any action. They will themselves say, they will take it very cool. They will say, I don't have to do. If my boss is not doing, why should I do? And that is how it works. Sri Krishna says, if I stop working in this world, should I not engage in action scrupulously? At any time, great harm will come to this world. Currently, the world is this world. This world is your body. Sri Krishna is the divinity within. That is, we call it the supreme divine consciousness within us. If he himself is not going to do anything, the rest of the beings inside of us, if you may remember the two eyes, they have multiple gods sitting over there. The tongue is there, the mouth is there, the stomach is there, the muscles are there, the bones are there. If someone is doing the exercise, their muscles are getting toned. But if they give up exercise, what happens? The muscles become flabby and the person accumulates fat. In that space, the person accumulates fat. This is a very common example. I think you should understand this. So if Sri Krishna, the divinity within us, stops working, then this world comes to a standstill. It is going to be terrible for everybody. So, if I ever cease to act, the worlds will perish. Think, there are lots of people who don't eat food for a very long time. When they are not eating food for a long time, the juices in the stomach, which are supposed to be coming out when the food comes in, they mix around and then they digest this food. They will stop producing. The stomach will stop producing those juices. Likewise, there is liver, there are various other organs in the body, they will stop. One more example which is very common amongst us. Constipation. This thing is so dangerous. A person refuses. There are lots of children who don't want to go to the loo. And then the doctor is forced to give them medicine which will help them. This is very common amongst children. Also common amongst old people. They also are very reluctant to do certain actions. They will not go for a walk. They will not do certain actions. They will give up on certain foods. They will not do what is necessary at that age also. That is dangerous. So, if Sri Krishna himself stops performing these actions, then the whole world will cease to exist. So he says, then I will be the person who is going to cause confusion in the minds of people. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? All these gods within will say these words. They will say, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And it will cause destruction to everybody. So we have finished up to verse 24. We will stop over here.